Shitty League Sports Show. Come on, people. We have a fun one here today. Joining me today in the Legacy Lounge is the one and only Raven Ferguson, Afrocentric student athlete, current Eastmore Academy head coach. And so I'm your host, Dr. Vince Clarino. We're going to talk a little bit about everything, a little basketball, a little this, a little that. Yeah. Raven, say hello to everybody here in Central Ohio.
Hello, how y'all doing?
How y'all doing? I see. Hey, look, so you know, the fun of the show is that we get to have little moments in pre-recording, right, where we're just talking.
Okay.
And so I wasn't sure what your hello was going to be. Like, it was just hello, what's up, how y'all doing, right?
Yeah,
it's kind of like a smooth jazz type of hello, right?
Yes.
And so I asked a question.
Okay.
Because I couldn't find it in my own notes, right? We like to dig in. We go in. We on the internet. We searching for everybody's stuff, right? Tell us about where you from. Tell everybody, just give us that little snapshot. Where you from, how you end up in Columbus, and then we'll like jump into Afrocentric somewhere in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I am from Huntington, West Virginia. I was born there.
West V.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I moved there. I moved out of Huntington when I was like 6. I came to Columbus and never looked back.
Okay.
My mom was determined to give us a better life. If you know anything about Huntington or you know anything about West Virginia, it ain't much there.
Yeah.
I could have stayed there, yes, but it's more opportunities in Ohio for my family.
Well, and Columbus is a growing city.
Yes.
So a lot, that story is not, and not to say that's not unique. It's a whole bunch of people moving here. You know what I mean? I look up, I'm going, I ain't never seen, I can go places now, and go, and I can be in a completely room of, I don't know a single person in the room.
Yep.
It wasn't like that when I was in my 30s.
Uh-huh.
In my 30s, I would go someplace and I knew half the room. And now I can go places I don't know anybody in the room.
Well, I'm realizing now that I got family that's here.
Wow.
I'm seeing a lot of Fergusons, and I'm asking questions, and I'm asking them, hey, you related? Because me and my dad don't have a real relationship, but I know that my family, I've been told that my family.
The dots start to connect for you.
Yes, my family is here. Yeah. So I'm asking questions, especially now that I'm older. I'm trying to connect with that side and know where I come from on that side.
Okay.
So I know I got family here.
Certainly.
So if you know.
And that's a journey in of itself, right?
Yes,
and I share with everyone, like, as you're going through this process of kind of like attaching, finding family, whatever it may be. That's a journey. We're going to talk a little bit about your journey today. You mentioned, I'll share this as a little quick basketball side note. So when I was playing at Duquesne, and we were nobodies back then. Like, I mean, when I say nobodies, we weren't that good. I mean, but we had some guys that could play. Yeah. We just couldn't get over that bubble, right? We were kind of a 500 team, 15, something like that. But we always had a game with West Virginia University, West V. We would travel down from Pittsburgh down to West V. And I remember my first time going, I mean, there was like kids and stuff camped out and all these people. I was going, are they doing all this for the Duquesne game?
Yeah.
Like, so what happens when, you know what I mean? Like when Pitt rolls down here or when, UConn comes in town, right? When they were back in the Big East, I'm thinking to myself, oh yeah, so this is the only ticket in town. I mean, I think it might've been sold out for a game against us. And I mean, they gave us the business. Yeah. I'm not talking about, on the court, I think we might have been competitive, but the fans, the fans at West V gave us the business
West
at
Virginia
that game.
Basketball.
Oh, they love it. They love their sports at West V, don't they? Yeah, they gave us the business down there. I said, wow, okay, this is an eye opener, right? So you come to Columbus, and then let's kind of start your basketball discussion here. When did you start hooping? When did that? Was it at 6? Was it at 10? Was it at 14? When did that occur?
I honestly started immediately when I hit Columbus. I got inspired by my cousin. Some might know OJ Mayo. Okay. He was one of those people who, like, I followed around AAU, D1 Greyhounds. They traveled everywhere, and my family used to follow them. We used to be kind of like together.
How much older is he than you, per se? 5 years, 10 years?
Probably like 5.
5 years? Okay.
Yeah,
all right. So when you 6, he 10, 12, 13 years old.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So I'm watching him and I'm seeing like him get off the court and signing autographs. Yeah. Even Bill Walker was another person that he played with, like, that I thought was like elite. Like, these are people I'm inspired by. And I'm like, I want to be like them. Yeah.
First
of all, I grew up with all boys and all brothers, all boy cousins. So
are you the youngest?
No, I'm the middle child.
In the middle.
Yes.
But brothers on both sides of you.
Yes.
Younger brothers, older brothers.
Yes.
Okay.
And then all boy cousins. So I was my grandma's first granddaughter.
Oh, wow.
So
okay.
I was like,
so you was treated special.
yeah.
You was treated, hey, look, it's always like that, right? Because I know some families and it's like all girls and then the boy cousin come on. I'm like, we got to stop coddling this boy. I know everybody loves him. I said, look, he can only withstand 100 kisses.
Yep.
It can't be 200 kisses. So you were babied in a little bit. Yeah,
a little bit, a little something. But I never actually felt like I was the girl. Because I always felt like the boys were always like, girls can't do that. Girls can't do this. Girls can't do that. And that's what sparked that fire into me.
Come on. Thank you, cousins and brothers.
Better than you. Yeah.
Thank you, cousins and brothers. You don't know what you're doing, but you done lit this fire in me.
I done turned the car on and I'm ready to go. So I ended up watching him like do everything that he did. I went to his house. You see boxes of like, NIL, they give you stuff, but this was before NIL.
No
he
doubt.
was getting Reeboks, Adidas, clothes.
People don't understand, like, even if like even now, and we'll talk a little bit about the game here, but so much has changed. But like even back then, there was still some opportunities.
Yep.
And I can only imagine, right?
Yep.
Because even for the little bit of stuff that I was exposed to, and I can remember, I'm going, wow, like this is this is what happens when this is nice, right? Yeah. So you're seeing those things as a young kid, and that's having an impression on your life.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I wanted to be that. I wanted to be just like that. I wanted to be the one getting the autographs and getting the clothes sent to me.
Right.
But you're a girl, so it's not the same.
And you were at a different time period in the women's game, right? So as it has grown also and evolved, some of those young people now are having that experience. Because I like to joke with people, and my experience was marginal. I had a heck of a ride. I had a good time.
Okay.
But I look back on it, and then now, and I'm not knocking this generation, but some of these guys that are getting a chance and an opportunity,
you right,
they wouldn't have made my high school team.
You right.
You wouldn't even have been on the team. Like, I'm not saying, but you wouldn't have made the team.
You ain't lying.
And now we're looking at you, and you all state. Like, hey, I'm not knocking where the level is at, but so you know what I mean. So it's grown and it was different, and so we see that, and I'm a voice that's saying, hey, let's push it. Let's get our kids back to whatever level we think it is. And I'm not saying that going backwards means regressing. I'm just saying that we have to give them some of the skill sets that get outside of just, hey, look, because a kid like OJ, he had the talent to go with the attention, right? You know what I mean? So like when you watch him, I remember seeing him. So being a Columbus guy, and he was Northern Kentucky area, UC Cincinnati. So I remember seeing him, and I was like, oh, he can go. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, he can go. Yeah. So you had a front row seat to those experiences. And then that helped mold you.
Yep. Yeah. And I started with the Rex.
Okay. In Central Ohio.
Yep. Crum Park.
Oh, there we go.
Adams. Yep.
Come on.
I work there now.
Okay.
I work there. I get back to my community, but that's where I started. I played 5 to 8. I played 9 to 11. I played 12 to 14. I played 16U. I didn't stop playing. It got to the point where
they had to kick you out the gym.
Basically, they had to. It's a rule. It's a rule. It's a Raven rule right now that doesn't allow people to play with the Rex and the school. Because I played in the state game on TV, and then I turned around and came and played in the city tournament for the Rex and Park.
Wow.
So the next day.
So you loved the game.
I loved being in the gym. I would go from practice. I don't think I ever missed a practice if I could say, like high school, AAU. Even though my coaches would bring me to practice, would take me to practice, but I wasn't calling off. I wasn't missing any time in the gym. Even after being in the gym, I would go back to the gym. I just love being in the gym. And I think it's
a safe haven for many of us who love the game. You know, even for me, I might just be out of school and I'm just maybe walking through for a meeting or for whatever it might be. And I got to go in there and just let me just toss one up. Give me a pass. Let me just throw a shot up, right? Because for those of us that are hoopers and love it, it just calls out to you differently. And, I might be at home and some little kids maybe are dribbling a ball just down the street. If I hear it, my wife even to this day, I go run to the window because I just want to see who's out there dribbling the ball, right? And she go, you still running to the window? I say, yeah, I'm just curious to see who. I hear the ball going. I'm just curious to see who's out there. I just want to see who's dribbling out there. So for you then, you got older brothers, younger brothers, you got male cousins, you hooping all the time, and so you're falling in love with it at the same time, right? You're seeing high profile cousin get a lot of attention. You're falling in love with the sport. So then let's just jump into Afrocentric, right? Is that a fair place to start, or am I missing a step someplace that you think we should share?
I definitely want to make mention of one thing.
Get it.
When it came to me playing at the rec, I would say like my mom came to one game, my first game. I was 6 at the time. She came to one game, and you could tell she wasn't like super happy after the game. She was kind of irritated, and I was wondering why, because we won.
Yeah.
I'm all happy. She like, how you gonna play basketball? You ain't dribbled. So I was a post player.
Okay.
I was a post player playing with the boys. I was the biggest girl, so I didn't dribble the basketball. I would just turn around and just lay it up.
Making shots. Yeah.
She was like, you can't play basketball. Yeah. She's like, you can't play basketball and you can't dribble.
Right.
I'm not coming to see this. Like, because she's used to watching OJ play. She's used to seeing
little moves in and out, stir the coffee.
Yeah, real game.
Yeah, little hesitation between the legs.
Nah, I'm not coming to see this. I'm not coming to see you do that.
Okay.
So I taught myself how to dribble. We had an alley. I dribbled. I dribbled hand behind my back.
Come on, let's get it. I know that story.
Down the alley, right hand back.
Yeah.
Like, taught myself, and then I watched basketball. So any move I seen, oh yeah, let's put that in our bag. Like, that's what type of kid I was. So moving forward to Afrocentric.
Certainly.
I ended up freshman year.
Hold on for a second. We have a theme going here. And the theme is that I'm hearing in you that these moments in your life where maybe someone challenged you, older brothers, cousins said you can't do something, mom comes to you, says maybe you can't do a little something, and then that inspires you to say, hey, look, you know what? Yes, I can. There's a whole study about people that are like that because not everyone is built that way, right? And so I can share it with you, and I don't even know what you're going to do next in life. That spirit, that energy, that motivation is destined for greatness, right? And so I share with you that what they say for those individuals is that don't wait for the external piece. Internally, say to yourself, okay, hey, look, you know what? This is something that maybe somebody thinks I can't do. Right. This is what I want though, and then go drive for that. But so because it's interesting to hear you say that. I have a very speaking basketball. When I was in school, Sherwood Middle School here. I know Sherwood. Walnut Ridge used to do a basketball camp, and back then you knew which high schools you were going to. You went to your neighborhood school, right? Yep. And our coach, the coach that was at Walnut Ridge, would do a little camp. Middle school camp. I remember I went to the camp, and I still have it today. He used to give every camper a handwritten player analysis sheet. I still have mine at my house, right? Okay. And on it, he said that my left hand wasn't ready. My left hand dribbling wasn't ready for high school basketball. Okay. And so just so happened I had a family member got hurt, had the little arm sling. So my sister tied my arm behind my back every time you saw me. That's why I still run to the window as an adult today. Every time I was in the neighborhood, I was just dribbling with my left hand. Everywhere you went. I did that for probably 3 summers. I never even except for in practice, I never even touched the basketball with my other hand. And so then in turn, when I got to high school, he said, "Oh, you've been working on your left hand." I said, "Yeah, because I was taking that away from you. You weren't going to be able to use that against me, though. You weren't going to be able to say when I got to high school, oh, your left hand is still weak. No, I'm going to tell you, you got to come up with some other reason why, right? And I hear that in you as you share that story with mom. She comes to watch you play. You 6 years old, but you like, okay, mom, I got you, right? So that certainly then improves your skill set. It did. And confidence.
And that's one thing that I try to tell all these players is that the work is going to help your confidence. The work is going to help with wherever you lack. So I see a lot of players going into the gym and they shooting around, but is it game-like shots? Is it shots you're going to take? Are you doing it at a game-like pace, speed. Like I know there's some pace is a thing, like slow, fast.
Right.
But if you're not working on the pace in game pace, then you're not really getting better. You're just shooting up a bunch of shots. So I encourage players and athletes to get in the gym. If it is, I can't use my left hand. Go in there and just dribble with your left hand in the kitchen. You can be at home doing it.
That's exactly right.
I irritated my mom at home dribbling in the kitchen.
Yeah.
She never really told us. She told us to stop, but then she just knew, like, she knew, like, my
But there's a lot worse you could be doing. Yeah. Right. A lot worse you could be doing. So I think that's one of those things where as a parent, you almost just have to say it, right? Because my son would be dribbling in the kitchen. I say, stop dribbling in the kitchen. Yeah. But really, I just mean, hey, look, I see
Control
you.
it.
I see you. You know what I mean? I see you in there trying to get it in, right? So so you do these things, some on your own. You playing at Crum Park, different stages and different levels. You're mixing it in with the boys, and so that's also then helping your skill set. So then you end up you know, it's like I said, we'll go ninth grade. You're over at Afrocentric. They're relatively young in, when I say young, in the kind of the tradition that we know of now, right? So people 2025 don't necessarily know Afrocentric. 2009, was that your freshman year?
2008.
2008, right? So they don't. So that's 17 years ago, right? And so it was just starting to have the buildup of the bus. So like you're a part of the broad shoulders. You lifting this thing up here, right? Because had they won a state championship?
They had
won, right? Okay, so you get there freshman, and then so let's talk a little bit about what comes to mind as you get in there and you're a part of this now. This great legacy of basketball, but you know, when you come in as a freshman, and let me share with everyone who's new to Central Ohio also. You played old Afrocentric, Livingston Avenue, old Mohawk,
East Livingston,
old Mohawk High School. For those of you that really know, right? So we got some elder states individuals who know it, right? That was Mohawk, and then it became Afrocentric,
right?
The gym was probably smaller than a matchbook. You know what I mean?
Side,
little time. But the work, it was the work.
Africa.
Yeah, come on, it was the work in there, a little small. You know what I mean? Well, that's probably a bad term because Africa is huge. This gym was tiny.
It was hot.
Yeah, it was certainly was hot. Yes, it was a hot box. It was a hot little small space. But y'all got a lot of work in.
Yes.
So let's maybe talk a little bit about
that. Freshman year was fun. I would say that's probably my best year. Okay. Even though we didn't win, my freshman coming in, first of all,
didn't win state.
No, we didn't win.
Well, it's interesting the way you say we didn't win, right? Because like y'all had a very good season.
It was ranked. We had the rank.
But you see how like not winning state. Some people would love to get a district, right? So you won district, you won regional, you just didn't win state, right? And see how that's the standard though.
Yes.
The standard is we didn't win.
Yeah.
In your mind, you saying we didn't win state.
Yeah.
But for a lot of people, a regional championship is an amazing season, right?
And I sometimes forget that, like mentally, like when I say we didn't win, it's like there's a city, there's a district, there's so
a regional.
There's so many.
You won a lot of games. Y'all probably lost two, 3 games that season. Yeah, you probably go 24-2 or something like that. Yeah,
we played a national schedule. We played some ranked. We played ranked national teams. Whitney Youngs. We played teams. And I feel like our goal was always to win state championship. When I came in as a freshman, honestly, middle school, I would go back to middle school. I was deciding what school to go to. Afrocentric wasn't just immediate for me. Eastmore was also one of my schools. You know, Ayanna Dunning was there at the time. They had the All-Star game. I went to the middle school All-Star game. I liked Eastmore as a school. I went to the middle school before. So it was only right for me to come and go to Eastmore. But I went to the Classic in the country. I worked it and I watched both teams play, and I got to see Afrocentric and Eastmore. When I seen Afrocentric, it was so exciting. It was so fast. It was like the skill, like the type of game that I play, and I was like, I'm going to Afrocentric. So I called my mom, told her I want to go to Afrocentric.
Let's put in the paperwork and see what happens.
Let's go. And then my brother had to go, so my mom kind of forced my brother to go so I could get in. And then when I got in, I was super excited, but my middle school coach was like, "Man, they got too many stars there. You might not go. Might not even play." I'm like, another challenge.
Yeah,
like you
there
said.
You go. Right, this
another
theme.
Challenge.
Come on, this theme.
Another
right?
challenge.
Yeah,
I've been challenged all my life. So like she told me that, I was like, okay, bet.
Right.
Went in there and started as a freshman.
Oh wow.
So
okay. That's huge.
Yeah.
For a Coach McKinney team.
Yeah. So I went in there and started as a freshman. I feel like my freshman year could have been a better year. I think I kind of came in a little shy. I would say.
Well, that's okay. I mean, people are allowed to be shy in new environments, especially when you're 14.
Yeah. I would inspire anybody to come in, no matter your age. If your game says do it, just do it. Don't be afraid of, the vets. Just play your game.
Just play.
Play.
Well, if you've put in the work, what takes place on the soccer field, the football field, the wrestling mat, the basketball court, the tennis, if you've done the work, those things will speak for itself when you get out there.
It will. Yeah. And I think that's where I was like not my best self my freshman year, because I think if I would have played less shy and less passive, because, I had Moss on my team, I had Ashar Harris on my team, I had Nick, I had like some hoopers.
And I mean, like you just named some people that could go.
Yeah, they were hoopers. So with them being on my team, I'm thinking I got to take the back seat, play my role, be more passive, not be as aggressive as I could have been. But honestly, man, I could have. Yeah.
But that's okay though, because you know what? Each step of our journey teaches us something, right? And so there was something that you were supposed to learn.
Yeah.
In that you know what I mean? Like in that process. And even and I'll share this, like I certainly agree with you, but there also is there's also something to having enough awareness about yourself that you don't have to maybe push the envelope. Like waiting your turn is okay. You know what I mean? Like that's okay.
Yes.
And I know a lot of times, like families, I was talking to a family this past basketball season of a kid who was a freshman, and it was like they wanted everything this year. And I said, yeah, but look, like, I know as a parent, you maybe can't see it, but your child also can and will get better.
Yes.
And there's some older kids on the team. They may not have your child's skill set.
Right.
But they have the maturity side. They're you know what I mean. So they got some things. So they've been in it for a little while. So just you don't have to have it all right this exact moment. There's some chances for you. But you came into a very structured program, I think, at the time. So did that help you out, you think, to some degree?
Yeah. I mean, I had rough times.
Okay.
I had rough times. I had times where I went home, I wanted to quit.
Yeah.
I had times where I was crying.
Why didn't you quit? Real talk. I mean, was it just the love of the game?
Yeah, I mean, I felt like, honestly, the feeling of wanting to quit was because basketball was all I was in people's eyes as a youngin'. Like, anytime you seen anybody, you still hoop, hooping, when you're next, like, it was irritating to me.
Yeah, it was attached to your identity.
Yeah, and I was more than that.
Right.
And I think that's where I was, like, when I hit freshman, sophomore year, I think that's what was coming out of me. What really more of a person I was than a basketball player. So I just always felt frustrated. Like, I loved music. So one thing about me, I probably could have been an artist, A&R, like something like that with music. But I've been so sucked into basketball all my life that I feel like I've never went outside of that box to see.
It is certainly like, and I've seen that with a lot of people who had young success in a sport, and then it just becomes a part of your identity. It's attached to you everywhere you go, and every time you see the person. And I remember I was talking to a guy, and this was a guy that played professional football, and he was like, "Hey, you know what, man? Like, really, around the 8th grade, I didn't even really like playing football." I'm like, "What are you talking about? I thought you were Mr. Football." Like, you know what I mean? He was like, I was just so good. And I just kept playing, but like I really didn't, and I was like, oh wow.
Sometimes
you know what I mean?
It'd be a hobby.
Yeah, so like, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't, and it's okay to have both, right? You know, and I think what happens sometimes is that that especially now, the way we treat sports
Yeah.
in America, where we done forced you to become a one sport person.
Yep.
You're so I mean we force a sport on you all year round. Seasons don't even mean anything anymore.
Nope.
You go straight from playing basketball in your school, then you play at AAU, then you play all summer, then in the fall you in the fall league. It's like you ain't never stopped, right? And so it makes it difficult for that balance to kick in. I share something also though, because obviously we're talking basketball today.
Yep.
One of the things that I continue to push this on my show, I want everyone to continue to hear it. I'm screaming it as loud as I can. We haven't taught this generation very well on how to be resilient.
Yep.
This is a quitting generation, and we need to stop that. Ooh. Parents, coaches, friends, buddies, social media. Yep, we need to stop that. Yeah. Let's stop telling everybody to quit. And I'm not saying if you have a real situation, I certainly understand walking away.
Yep.
But not just because
it's getting hard.
It's getting a little hard.
Yeah.
Not because you had to run a couple extra sprints. Not because you didn't get to start that game. Like, those are not quitting reasons. You know what I mean? And not because the coach jumped on you in practice. Yeah, the coach jumped on you in practice. That's okay. You can learn from me. Yeah, they care. Right. They care because they could say nothing.
Yep.
Right. And so So with that being said, you kind of go through this time here. You come in as a splash as a freshman. So then share with me then, during those years, you all win a state championship, and then the blessings start to roll in per se.
Yeah, I got my first offer, I think 8th grade. It was Ohio State.
Okay. Was McGuff the coach?
No, Coach Foster.
Okay, yeah.
Jim Foster. But freshman year was good for me. Sophomore year was even better for me.
Yeah.
We won the state. We ended up coming back, winning the state. And then junior year and senior year, I would say it was a struggle for me because we weren't as good talent-wise.
Yeah.
But I felt like, I don't want to say I had the team on my back for 2 years because I don't want to not give my teammates their praise because I needed all of them. But I've always felt like it was,
you had different expectations for you that year.
Yeah. It was hey, you got to do what you need to do to get this state championship.
Right.
I think that it was just a lot of adversity that I dealt with in my past 2 years.
Yeah.
But after that, like, I felt like the offers start rolling in. I have totes. I have 2 or 3 totes of college
filled
letters.
with letters.
Letters. Just letters. I actually did a career day at Eastmore and took them to Eastmore and tried to inspire the kids and stuff like that. But I still got them. It was, I could go anywhere that I wanted to go.
Right.
But I had my top 5. My top 5 was like,
yeah, I'm curious to hear that. Come on, let's talk about who was on the short list.
My top 5 was I liked Xavier. I liked Ohio State.
Yeah.
I liked Miami, Florida.
Okay.
And I liked Michigan
Gainesville.
State. Yeah.
Michigan State. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I really wanted to go to Miami, Florida, if I could be honest.
Yeah.
I went on my visit there. I went by myself too. I think that's why people wasn't on the bandwagon for me to go.
Right.
Because they were like Afrocentric. It felt like Afrocentric, like the sisterhood.
Okay.
Yeah. I played in the open gym. They was like, "Come on, youngin, let's go."
Get it.
Running, fume.
Yeah. Up and down. Push it.
When I tell you, fast pace. And then I was eating. I remember this vividly. I came in eating. I was eating a sandwich. I was eating white bread, and they was like, "When we eat that white bread, we eat wheat bread." They were eating healthy.
Yeah.
They were probably one of the teams that back then that had muscle mass in the girls' game.
Certainly.
Yeah. So it's evolved over time, but now, like then,
that wasn't necessarily
that wasn't the thing. Like Miami, Florida girls, they had them muscles.
Yeah.
You could just tell they had a different regimen going on there.
When I was at school, which was kind of like you're speaking to, was kind of rare. There was a young lady on the women's team at Duquesne.
Okay.
Her name is Corey Halede.
Okay.
Corey Halede. If you ever look up anybody out there, Corey Halede. And Corey was one of the first ones that I remember like seeing in the gym, doing like working out, getting some stuff in.
Lifting.
And she was out cold. It was a reason why she was like all Atlantic 10 and all this other type of stuff, right? We get into it, right? But I mean, I just like what you're sharing. it was, and this is in the late 90s, this is in mid 90s. So it evolved over time, right? So then you wake up in the 2010s, and you're like, oh, this is what's going on down here in Miami, in Florida, right? Yes. Where they catch rabbits with their bare hand because they so fast, right? That's what they like to say. They love touting that in their football. We can catch a rabbit down here. Okay, right? Yes. Okay.
And in the campus, I loved everything about the campus, the team. They acted like you was a recruit. Yeah. I would tell people in their recruiting process, vet your team, vet your coach, vet like everything. Get somebody's number, text them, see how it really goes when you not there. Because they gonna give you their best everything when you come on your visit. But for real, it's like when you're not there, what happens?
What's going on?
I mean, they got the transfer portal now. So,
so you just bounce around. You ain't even got to figure it out.
Like you said, when it get hard, you can just leave.
I'm off to the next spot. And I get it because people say, with the coaches and we as a basketball person, we can spend 2 hours on that topic, right?
We can.
So let's stay in this space for a moment. You had a short list. So in a short amount of time, because we're in that crunch. Why Ohio State? Why that end up being your choice?
I felt like I had to.
Okay.
Felt like I had to. With my family wanted me to go. My coaches wanted me to go. Right. Ohio State coach wanted me to go.
Right.
I'm from the city.
Right.
You hear this, they keep losing talent out in the city. They keep doing this. They don't get the best players. So I'm like, all right, I'll go.
Yeah, okay.
I'll be the one that goes.
A lot of pressure along with them. Just being able to make a decision as an 18-year-old young woman. You're like, okay. And then now, but all these different voices. I get it. And so you're from West V. I'm a Columbus kid. So I'm from here, and OSU shadow is a big shadow here in Columbus, right?
You get so much love.
Yeah, and so like I get it.
Yeah.
But until you've really had some opportunities to see more of the world, and I love OSU, right? But you go, hey, look, it's a little bit more out there, right? But I think the city, Columbus, the city league. And OSU, I think all of those are great relationships that exist here, right? So there's some special opportunities in Central Ohio, right? And if you're a kid from here and you have that chance to go and play at Ohio State, because Ohio State is our pro teams. In Columbus, right? And it's not like that in every other big city around. No. Like, you go to other places, there's a little bit, there's another shadow, right? And so you have different voices saying to you, hey, OSU. And then, so obviously that becomes your choice, right? Your success in your seasons and whatnot were just, roller coasters. Is that a fair way to say it?
Yeah. I think off the court, I had more issues than on the court.
Okay.
I think that when it came to off the court, me and my coach, Coach Foster, like on the court, we did not get along. So I'm trying to make this make sense. Like we could talk to this day right now. Like we could have a conversation. Okay. Right. But I think that what he wanted from me when he recruited me wasn't what he recruited me for in my, for me. I'm a, versatile type of player. Right. But what he wanted from me was to stand in the corner and shoot threes.
Right.
And I didn't like that. That's not what I came here for.
Style of play is also important.
Yeah. So I think that he was still like post player, guard.
Right.
That shooters,
positional stuff, that type of thing.
Yeah, he was still in the old era of basketball when it's becoming a guards game now.
Right.
And it's becoming more fast paced.
Yeah.
So I think that he wasn't ready for that transition, and having a player like me
who was multi-talented, you could do a lot with the basketball, right? Because we didn't even really touch on the numbers and the scoring and the this and that. Like we could sit here and just run down accolades, right? And so that can be a challenge for anyone because when you get out there and you're looking maybe for a particular type of style, the best of coaches today, in my opinion, this is just me. Just throwing it out there, can learn to take their personnel and sort of adapt.
Yep.
You can't keep forcing your system, right? Because sometimes you're not going to have that skill set.
Yep.
So unless you're like 100%, you can get every little piece to fit. You won't have. So you got to be able to massage your system a little bit and do some things that can be successful. So like as you go through this journey, you play at Ohio State, you have a transition in college, and so when you look back on it, I want you to share with listeners, give them a chance. What's a memory that's kind of like that's dear to you, that's a fun, that's something that sits on your heart that you had as a good experience, a fun time, that when you look back you go, oh, that's nice to reflect on. Is there a good memory I'm talking about from your college time period? Is there a time where even if it was just one game, it might have been a spurt, it could have been hitting back to back? I mean, and I'll share mine real quick while you're thinking, right? I remember we played Temple, and we were getting blown out by Temple. Okay. And I got into the game. I played more in the second half than I probably deserved to play, right? And I made a couple of shots, and I thought I must have had 30. At the end of the game, you get the box sheet on whatnot, and I was talking to one of the assistant coaches, and I said, I only had 9 points? I thought I had like 25. He's like, dude, 9 points. You know what I mean? You had a couple free throws, you know what I mean, in the one-on-one, blah, blah, blah. You had a little basket. You had 9 points, dude. Yeah. But for me, it's a fun memory because regardless of, and obviously I would have wanted us to win. Mm-hmm. But looking back on it, I still chuckle to myself because I felt like I made a whole bunch. I mean, I felt like I scored 25. I had 9 points, right? Yeah. So, but it's a fun memory. So I'm just curious, is there something that was a fun memory for you, that is a fun memory for you?
Basketball?
Yeah, the experience, the journey. It could have been traveling somewhere. It don't even necessarily have to be on the court. I'm just curious because I want you to be able to, when you look back on it, I want there to be a warm space for you, and I want you to share that with us if there is. That's all.
I wouldn't say that I enjoyed playing at Ohio State basketball.
Okay.
I think that it was rough. I dealt with adversity off the court so much that it wasn't enjoyable. I've had so many times that I want to transfer. You don't get the same. Right, freedom to transfer like you do now. Yeah, so
sit out of here and all sorts of stuff.
They can reject you from going certain places. That's what they were going to do. Right. I just think that for me, the funnest thing that happened to me in college was like just off the court. Like I enjoyed myself. Yeah, I think that people don't realize that I was very sheltered as a kid. Okay. So that when I did hit college, I didn't know how to balance the freedom. Yeah. So with having so much freedom, I made certain decisions that probably wasn't the best decisions, but I enjoyed myself. Yeah. I can't lie. I enjoyed myself at Ohio State. I enjoyed off the court. Basketball was no longer fun for me, but I still enjoyed myself. The connections that I made with people, the things that I got to do with the freedom, I enjoyed it.
So just the growth and the learning about yourself, life, those things are a spot for you. Look back and go, hey, I enjoyed that. Yeah. So let's bring it full circle for a moment then, because we're out of time, but we're just gonna keep it going a little bit, right? Okay. So now coming full circle, you spoke a little bit about being in middle school. Eastmore, Afrocentric, and now you sit here today. You got the Warriors on your crest there, right? Yeah. You're the head coach of Eastmore Academy, and is this a space of joy for you? Is like, because I know it's challenging. First off, we don't even have to talk about that, right? Because coaching is challenging. Yeah. Parents, go easy on our coaches out here in the world. Please. Youth, sports, pee-wee, middle school, high school. It is a challenging process to coach, right? Yes. And but you're in a space. Here you are, Columbus, a city. Let me say this: Columbus City League. And Columbus City Schools, we love you, right? No matter, right? Yes, so the love is there. So is this a space where you say, now look, I'm here and I'm building and whatnot?
Yes. I actually love it. Even though it does come with its stressors and stuff like that, I actually love what I do. I'm now in a space where that's all I'm doing is what I love.
Okay.
So with Eastmore, it was a challenge. You know, first year is always your challenge with kids that's been in the system for a long time and they feel like you coming in trying to change something.
Right.
They don't like it. They don't, you know, and I'm just trying to be great. I'm trying to make Eastmore great again.
Certainly.
I felt like Eastmore always was competitive. I felt like Eastmore always had talent.
Certainly.
Regardless of what sport. They were dope in every sport.
Yeah.
In every sport when 100%. I was younger. We just had girls basketball at Afrocentric. So Eastmore beat us in everything else.
Right.
But so now I'm going into the space of like, how can I get Eastmore back to Eastmore?
Right.
Like I'm also in the space of how do we get all these coaches together to make Eastmore great again? Because I got to get players too.
Yeah, no doubt. I got to
get players.
So you got to help develop, and you got to have kids who have an interest and want to come there. I know how you get Eastmore back. Watch this. Because I'm going to sit here and say to you, you can't do it. Come on, right? I'm going to say that. I'm saying that out there live, and so the whole world gets to hear it. So now, right, in the theme of your life, you shared with us 6 years old, young person, older brothers, mom, you can't do it.
Yep.
Middle school, somebody said you can't do it.
Yep.
You keep going on stage after stage, somebody said you can't do it. So, and I say that to you jokingly with love, right? But you know what I mean? Like, so, hey, look, you can't do it. Because then now I know, hey, look, okay, watch, roll my sleeves up. You know, I have always known you from afar. So when I would watch you and hear about you at Afrocentric, you know, it was always, you got to come see her. And I remember watching you and going, right? Because from a hooping standpoint. Yeah. So my simple term is always, when people ask me somebody, I say, you know, she can go, he can go. Yeah. That's my, you know, and those that know me personally, they'll, right? Like that's my highest praise from a hoop standpoint. He can go. You know what I mean? She can go, right? Yeah. But then if you can't, they all right. Like, they all right. You know, they good, right? But those that can go, can go. You just throw the ball out on the court and let the magic happen. Yeah. And so I remember seeing that about you. And then, you know, transition pop up, everybody in their own life, you're at Ohio State, and then watching your journey, right? Yeah. I think your story is a beautiful one. I think Eastmore is lucky to have you. Columbus City Schools is lucky to have you back at the helm. I'm excited to see what it becomes, right, and where it grows and turns into. Anything we didn't touch on today? I mean, I know your journey and your story is so deep. I know you're doing some training now as well with kids. Yep. You tell me what we didn't touch on if you got something you want to share as we start to wrap up.
The only thing I would touch on is I'm a trainer. RF Elite Training on Instagram. Okay. You can look me up. I'm very good at what I do. Come on. Very much so. I study the game. I'm still studying the game, even though I feel like you can't tell me nothing about basketball. Right. Period. Man, woman. Right. I don't care who you are. I really love this game. Yes, indeed. I really know this game. Yep. I study it. I do the workouts that I still play to this day with the men. So on Saturdays at Crumb.
Come on, there you go. It's a run going on.
We
yes, indeed.
But I do train. You can go look me up. I'm very good at what I do. Eastmore that's probably where I'll be more effective at Eastmore is because I do develop. Not a lot of schools at high school can develop you in-house. Yeah. We will develop you in-house. Yeah. And then I have connections with college coaches too that's recruited me. I took my girls on 3 different college visits. None of them were being recruited. We also have the connection.
So you just get the whole big picture.
Yes.
I love just now where you talked about like hooping and working. You know this game because and I'm not here to knock anybody. Yeah. But you can pick up on it in a conversation very quickly. Yeah. For those that know it and those that don't. And I'm not sitting here. You know, but like I've been in a conversation. I'm going to myself. What are you even talking about? You know, I'll use some terms with people, just simple stuff. Hey, you know, what do you think about trying to help a player get to their spots? Yep. And then when they don't even know, I go, okay, all right, man. Hey, look, have a good one, right? Because if you know it, you understand what that means. Helping somebody get to their spots. You know, are you helping that player? Because like you just shared, and I don't want to get us too deep on the basketball conversation, but like you just shared, some coaches can tell you to go stand over in the corner, but that may not be your spot. And I remember playing some, and I'm going, why you keep having me end up here? This ain't where I need to be. I need to be there. And good coaches can understand that. Hey, look, I need to get you top of the key with the ball, boom, boom, boom. But this player needs to be on the wing because they can get baseline. They can, those types of things. Can you get them into their spots and help them be successful? We can talk about that all day long.
All day.
Hey, Columbus, Ohio, come on. We had a fun one here today. Raven, we appreciate you coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
This has been a special one. I expect and look forward to seeing the excitement that's going to come out of Eastmoor under your tenure and your time under leadership. If you're looking to help your basketball kid, moms and dads, grandmas, aunties, if you want them to get a little bit better, find Raven Ferguson out here. Come on, she'll put the ball in their hand and help them improve. And I didn't say young ladies. If you got a young man needs some game, come on, go put him under, and she'll teach you the game and help you get better at your skill set. I got to do the outro stuff.
Yes, sir.
We got all these people, all the stuff we talk about. WCBE 90.5. Catch all our future episodes. Follow us on our YouTube channel. Like us and follow us. And then go to Apple, Spotify, wherever you prefer to listen to your favorite podcast. For all the IG people, follow us on Instagram at City League Sports 614. I'm your host, Dr. Vince Clarino. This is a special one here. Raven Ferguson from West V, from Afrocentric, leading Eastmoor, one of Columbus City's own. And this is City League Sports, everybody.
Thank y'all.
Love it.